Hey there everyone, welcome back to Game Binding. My name is Dave, and get all your villainous toys ready because we are going bat hunting in Batman the animated series Rogue Gallery by IDW. Let's go. This is a game where you take on the persona of one of the animated series villains, and I used to watch the heck out of this show, so I am in love with the art already, just from the box. But what I hear about this game is a lucky dice rolling game where you're rolling dice and trying to assign them 2 cards to get equipment, and assigning your little henchman out to do work to get more equipment, so you can take on the Bats himself at the very end and become the winner. So I'm hoping this game hangs on to the theme because I love it, and I'm hoping the dice rolling mechanism goes over well. So without further ado, let's go show you what's in the box. I'll show you how to play and give you my opinion at the end of the video. Let's go. And here we have the contents of Rogue Gallery, and boy, I just love this art. Now, you got these oversized cards for the villains. You got Harley Quinn, the best Harley Quinn, and then you got Croc, Joker, Penguin, and they all have, he's the best by the way, they all have their own specific asymmetric powers, and as many people as they can hold, the accomplishes, just different various things that they do, but these are all the big ones that were in the cartoon. And you have the other cards here, and all the cards are decent quality. I would say they're going to stand the test of time, but the art is phenomenal. But these are the equipment cards right here, and they have different costs up here, how many schemes and different things that you actually do, and how you can kind of break the game. And then you have the heroes of Bad Cop. The gray border ones are the easy ones, and then you got some of the advanced heroes coming up with the red borders here. Now these are some of the people that helped Batman out in the past, and some of the big ones like Nightwing. And again, art stellar. Then you have fun size cards. You know how I feel about fun size cards, but they're here. These are going to be held a lot because you're going to need a lot of these accomplices. That's hard to say. Okay, now you have the dice, and they are kind of edged smoothly, and I like them. Colors, of course, is my favorite, and you have cardboard pieces here, the bat signal and the schemes and the coins and the bat tracker here. So that's pretty much everything you get in the box. It's a decent amount, and it's relatively good quality. Now let's get to how you play this game, and we'll get to our thoughts. Okay, so the aim of the game is to beat the Batman, and it's going to be happening over round after round until somebody actually beats the Batman, and that person immediately wins. Now, in order to do that, you're going to have to roll dice and use some equipment, and it's going to take quite the planning to do so. So you'll give everybody their 1 player card and their 2 starting accomplishes, and a lucky coin. A lucky coin is you get to either get a scheme or replenish a dice that you've already used, and you also start people with different things. He gets a second lucky coin because of course he's Two-Faced, and this keeps every character asymmetric, which is pretty interesting. Let's take a closer look at the villain cards here. So this is how many upgrades you can have. This is how many accomplishes you can have in your hand. If you get over that, you would have to discard. You can choose what you want, and this is your power track. So you can spend schemes, and this will allow you to roll more dice. This is how you get the purple dice, and that's pretty interesting. So, and then you have your power. But that is a breakdown of a character card, and everyone has a different number for a lot of different things, and it's kind of thematic, I think. And everything's set up here with the upgrades in the middle and the advanced heroes out, and of course all the other starter heroes out of the accomplished pile, and you have the tracker always resets at the beginning of the game. Now there was a few rolls that I did have to look up, but fortunately it was pretty easy to do. So on your turn, you're going to be using schemes to buy equipment, and or using your accomplices to run those equipment. So basically think of it as using them to run this equipment or upgrade, and they will stay there until the end of the turn, and when it gets back to your turn, you'll pick them up and you'll use the upgrade immediately once you put the accomplished down. First thing you do is you will roll dice and then flip over the first hero card. Now you have to beat this person, and if it has a plus there, you can use any amount of dice to beat it, and that dice is expended. So you would then flip over another one here, and these two have to be two separate dice that are different numbers. Now this thing up here means this is how much the threat is, basically, that the Batman will come. So when you beat him, it goes up 1. When you beat this person here, it goes up 2. So we're at 3. If it reaches 10, Batman comes out no matter what. Sometimes you want that to happen, but most of the time in the beginning of the game, you just want to beat a few people and then go up to the upgrade phase where you get equipment. But let's say I'm going to keep going. I'm going to fight this guy too. Okay, so this equals 4, and we have 2 more dice. We have a 6 and a 1. All right, so we're going to stop there. It would tick up 1, 2, 3. Now this resets at the beginning of every turn, so remember that. Now you would get credit if you would stop right here, equal to the number of strength here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We would get 7 schemes if we were to stop. But if we were to keep going, which we wouldn't because we don't have any more dice, we would get arrested, and because we couldn't complete it, and everything would go away, and basically we don't get anything. Don't pass go. Do not collect $200. You're gonna have to break out of jail on your next turn, which happens immediately. It's just restarting your turn without doing anything if you get arrested. So you gotta press your luck and know when to stop, and when you fight the bats, you gotta know when to fight the bats. Now there are things that break the rules, like this is my favorite one. Whenever a hero tries to stop you, you may reroll any number of dice in your pool. So if you have more dice and you can't get that number, you can always reroll them just to try to get that, and Clayface is the best person for that because you couldn't reroll them any other way unless you have other equipment. Of course, when you get the credits, if the upgrade phase would be the last part of your turn, that's when you can spend your credits, which up here will show you how much you need to spend to get these credits. These equipments more of, and once you get them, you put them in front of you, and then you replace them, and you can continue to buy as much as you have credits. Now these little cards on the very bottom of the icon here, this card icon, that means how many accomplices it takes to run it when you're on your turn. So when you are wanting to re-roll dice, you could do it with this guy here, and you would spend 1 accomplice to do that, and then if you re-roll and don't get what you want, you can keep doing it as many times as you can that you have accomplices in your hand, because you'll be collecting accomplices along the games, and you will at least get a scheme and accomplice if you get arrested. And you can also use the accomplice's ability. Gain 1 scheme, each opponent loses 1 scheme, which is interesting, but if you use them, you give them to your person that is next to you, and they get to pick it up on their refresh turn. So that's kind of a weird rule, but it's there. And on your refresh turn, everything that you discarded to play like accomplices, to play your upgrades, you would pick them up, and so you can use them again on the same turn. So everything kind of builds on itself. Now, like I said, on the second round, you would shuffle in the advanced heroes to this deck, and it gets much harder. That's where it's got 3 dice, and if you run into a few advanced heroes when you're trying to pursue Batman, it could get kind of spicy. Now, these are the 3 Batman cards. When you do unleash him, you got to beat him with these type of dice, and it gets pretty hairy if you don't have a lot of equipment. So once you have enough equipment and enough henchmen at your disposal, you would want to press the Batman to come out, and you would fight him. If you have more abilities to refresh dice, you're gonna want to do that, and then whoever beats the Batman after they have all those equipment and henchmen beat him up, then they win. Now, I'm not going to go over every rule. There are things like dangerous and a few other nuanced things that I haven't gotten into that go into the equipment cards. I'll let you discover that for yourself. But there's a lot of interesting Easter eggs and hidden things that people who know Batman and watch the animated series are really going to get a chuckle out of. But essentially, like I said, you'll just continue to do that round by round, and whoever beats the Bat is a winner. So now let's give you my opinion on this game, and then we'll give it a grade. Let's go. That's how you play Batman's Rogue Gallery. Now, I'm going to give this a grade of 75. It's a solid game. There were a few hang-ups. The theme actually did hang on. That was one of the strongest things in my opinion, because when you are portraying this villain, you are trying to beat the bats, and you're earning as many henchmen as you can, as many toys as you can, and you're going to get arrested maybe once or twice, and your plans are going to get foiled, and then you're battling all these heroes, and you feel like you're building up to the final battle, and then you get knocked down by Nightwing, and you're like laughing as Joker before that, and then you're like, oh, and so that being thematic, it worked. But that feeling of getting smacked by Nightwing when you're so close to getting to the bat to win, well, that felt awful. Now the game works in a lot of areas. Let me tell you the things that I don't like about it. There were a few times where I felt like the game ran on a little bit too long. So if you want, you can house rule it. There were a few things that I house rolled. I made like once you're preparing to fight the bat, if you fight a henchman and then you fight a hero coming up, you take that hero as hostage and the bats comes immediately. You get to fight them, because if you're fighting henchman, then hero, advance hero, unless you have a barrage of equipment and henchmen, it's going to be hard to beat the bat in the end. So what I wish was in the game was a card or two where it just makes the bat show up immediately. So when you have most of your stuff, or like the bat will show up after you beat one henchman, just to kind of progress the game a little bit faster. And when I did that kind of house rule, it made the game at least 10 minutes faster, and it kept the game like interesting throughout the whole thing, instead of drawing it out and the game being interesting as you build up to it for about 30 minutes, and then the last 10-15 you get smacked down by advanced heroes and smacked down by Batman, and you're trying to defeat them, and other people are trying to defeat them, and it's a lost cause for about 10 minutes. So if you tweak it just a little bit with a house rule, I felt like it really went over much better. And the gameplay is solid, but it's not the greatest, like, mind-blowing gameplay. So that's not really raising it up, but it's not necessarily taking it down, in my opinion. Now, all the good things. Clayface, you want to reroll, you get him. I really like the colors and color scheme of Joker, but when I play this game, I pick Clayface almost every time, because having that reroll ability is super crucial. And I do like the dice mechanism, like pushing your luck type games. Those are some of my favorites. So adding a theme that I like very, very much into a dice game, it was a match that I took to quite well. And getting some of the cool equipment, seeing a lot of the art. I think a lot of it is unique to this game. I'm not sure, I might be lying on that, but I don't remember seeing a lot of it in the show. But a lot of it has been taken from the show as well, I'm sure. But the quality of the cards, the cardboard, the dice, the colors, everything is above average, and that's why I think this is a solid game. It sits nice 75%, and I am absolutely going to recommend this to Batman fans, specifically the people who've watched the animated series and have Mark Hamill as the Joker. They're going to like this theme going into, and if they like kind of a dice roll and luck, press your luck type game, I definitely recommend that to this person. So if you have a friend who likes all that type of stuff, maybe this would be a great birthday present. But that's what I think about this game. Solid, and thank you so much, IDW, for the review copy. I appreciate your support. And Vine Nation, thank you so much for tuning into today's video. I hope it was informational, and subscribe if you're new. And if you like the video, click like, and if you don't like the video, click dislike and tell me down in the comments below why you don't, and we can try to improve the videos in the future. But until next time that I see you, have a great rest of your day and a great time with all that you play. Bye, guys. Miko, it's time to go. Good girl, Miko.